The Labour Party claims it has brought about a political earthquake after overturning two huge Conservative majorities to win the Tamworth and Mid Bedfordshire by-elections.
Well, the Conservatives trying to downplay the defeats by blaming low turnout. The party chairman, Greg Hands, calling legacy issues from what he said were the chaotic premierships of Boris Johnson and Liz Truss for the problems. However, the polling expert Sir John Curtis says these results do show the Tories may be staring defeat in the face at a general election.
Well, let's get more reaction now with our political editor, Christopher Hope in Mid Bedfordshire and Jack Carson in Tamworth. Christopher, what do you make of the sort of defence, really, from the Conservatives that a government rarely wins a by-election?
I mean, up to a point, Lord Copper, is what I'd say back to the party chairman in that instance. I think, yes, of course, fewer Tories turned out. Yes, Labour's share of the vote didn't really budge much up in Tamworth and was down in Mid Bedfordshire, where I am at the moment. But the point is that the Tory Party, is not getting its supporters out. Why is that? Well, the members have now seen the two people they wanted to run the party, Boris Johnson and Liz Truss, being removed from office and replaced by someone who didn't win the support of the membership last year, Rishi Soona, and that's the problem. And then since then, the party under Mr Sunak has been hemmed in by obviously the issue of paying for the COVID pandemic, the problems caused by the Ukraine invasion by Russia, and now increasingly distracted, if nothing else, and also giving support to Israel with its battle with Hamas. So there's a concern amongst the membership and supporters. Why? What are you doing for us? I think, and that's where this issue has come in. Look at the votes there for Reform UK. A right of centre party. If those votes hadn't happened, then Tories would have won both those seats. There was a lot of upset and concern amongst Tory MPs, which I think will manifest itself next week. I'm just hearing about an ERG meeting, that's European Research Group of Tory MPs. They're meeting for a big meeting on Tuesday afternoon to consider Brexit and other related matters. I'm told that will include the party's poor performance in these by-elections. On Wednesday, MPs can start putting in letters of no confidence in Rishi Soona. Although he won't be replaced, I can see a big protest from people, from Tories, worried about their livelihoods and the future of their party next week.
Yeah, and of course the parallels, Chris, being drawn in terms of the swing in the vote with 1997 when John Major was wiped out by New Labour and Tony Blair, just to remind people of those heady days of cool Britannia. And of course that may be the spectre that is on the shoulder of many of these Conservative MPs. But do we know what people were saying on the doorsteps? Because there were quite specific circumstances for these two by-elections being called. Or is it that people just say, you know, it's time for a change?
It does feel, certainly that's what Keir Starmer's been saying when he was here just after dawn, where I'm in Mid Bedfordshire. He said that this party, the Labour Party, is a party of change, and that's what they're offering. And you can sense that in the country, that the Tories have run out of their chances. They've replaced their leadership, 5 leaders in 13 years. It's time for someone new and a new team to take over, and you can see why that is attractive, I think, possibly to some people out there. All is not lost. The Tory strategists tell me they think if they put Starmer under pressure, he does wilt. And again, I think what they are hoping for, these Tories, is that they can persuade people to come and vote, because in Mid Bedfordshire, for example, the turnout collapsed from 74% down to 43 or so percent, down by 30 points. If you can get those out, those Tories vote, you've got a chance. But the landing zone for a Tory win in the election, which we now expect in autumn next year, is getting vanishingly small.
And for Rishi Soona, he does appear to have a problem, doesn't he? Because he keeps saying, and we heard it at the Tory Party conference, that he is the agent for change, if you like. But what people seem to be saying here is, we want to change the party.
That's right. I mean, the Tory Party for me is like a snake that sheds its skin every 2 or 3 years and changes leader, and then makes out it's a new thing altogether. You saw it, didn't you, Pippa, in that speech from Mr Sunak at his party conference, attacking the past 30 years of government, a large part of which was under Tory rule. We were expecting a ministerial reshuffle in the government towards the end of next week, ahead of the King's speech on November the 7th. That may or may not happen, but certainly he may find himself boxed in by what he can do now, because I think the Tory right is going to be very, very concerned about this government and where it's going next, and what happens next could be interesting for Mr Sunak.